Thank you, everybody. Thank you for stopping your busy days and for respecting and honouring us so much by your presence here today. I'm looking around at the people in the room and I'm just absolutely so pleased with the level of support that's been provided to Wimmera Hub. My name's Mandy Kersop and I reckon I know everyone in here, and you know that I'm the CEO and a very proud CEO of a wonderful organisation. As we start today, and before I hand over to Ross Higgins, the chairperson of our Committee of Management, I'd like to pay our respects to the traditional owners, the Wotjabalik, Jabra, Jali, Yabagol people and the Wagai people. And in a spirit of reconciliation, peace, harmony and working together, we value the land and respect the land in a similar way that traditional owners do. Thank you. So Ross, without further ado, I'll hand it across to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mandy. As Mandy alluded, I'm Ross Higgins, Chairman of the Hub Committee. I'd like to welcome you all to our annual general meeting, our 2011 annual general meeting. As you'll have seen by the information in front of you, Hub's been now going for 37 years, so we're quite proud of that history, and I'm sure we'll be going for another 37 years if we've got anything to do with it. We'd welcome you two here today. We've decided to change our format of our annual general meeting to make it a bit of a more interactive and in the middle of the day, and we've also provided lunch later, so that could be an attraction as well. So we encourage you to stay for lunch afterwards. I'd just like to acknowledge some of the apologies that we've received so that we can be recorded in the minutes. Laurie Edgerton, Bridget Muir, Fiona Werner, Ruth Barnes, Joe Burke, Jim Golden Brown, Kerry Brown, Joe Devereaux, Sally Millington, Kim Drummond, Hugh Delahunty, and Frank Spiel, and Mandy Stewart. So we'd like to just recognise that those people have apologised for the meeting today. In your little kit there, we had the minutes of the annual general meeting held on the 18th of April, which coincidentally is the same date as was today as it was last year. The annual general meeting minutes of 2010, I'd like to have someone move that those minutes be a true record of that meeting. For those who were present, Dave Bowe, moved second.
I'll second it.
Judith Pfeiffer. Thank you, Judith. Any issues to raise in those minutes? Thank you. I'll take that those minutes are confirmed. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the annual reports, and I'll be making one, Mandy's going to make one, and our Treasurer Barry Cridge is going to make one. So the reports are in your little pack there, but I'm just going to talk to a few points about that. And from my Chairman's point of view, 2011 has been a year of change, achievement and partnerships for Wimmera Hub. It's been an exciting year and it's been a privilege to be Chairman of the committee. The achievements we've received a number of state and federal awards, the Learn Local Awards, and that was in partnership with the DSE. The Deadly Award for our Deadly Youth Project, which in conjunction with Goolam, and that's a continuing program, and that will culminate in the Deadly Youth being presented later in the year. One of the significant highlights of 2011 has been our financial turnover, which was significantly improved. A lot of you people may be surprised that Hub turned over $1.1 million last calendar year, which is certainly significant for an organisation the size of Hub. That resulted in a surplus of $63,000, which was really good, seeing the last couple of years prior to that we had losses. And we've reduced our overdraft by over $100,000. So all in all, financially, Hub is well and truly back on track. That in part has been due to the innovation, creativity, enthusiasm, dedication of our staff, in that they've basically come up with new ideas, had a more business approach to the way we operate and have really embraced the new funding arrangements essentially that have come to our way and we've afforded and taken advantage of. So that, to be the way our staff have embraced all these new arrangements, has been a very pleasing part of 2011. During the year, we had the resignation of our former CEO, Eddie Hatzig, and I thank Eddie for his contribution to Hub as a committee member a few years ago and also as an employee for 18 months, the last 18 months he was here. We've now appointed Mandy Kersop in the middle of last year, and Mandy has certainly hit the ground running and really gone through the place and harnessed the enthusiasm that the staff have, and we've really come to look at Mandy as one of these, a can-do person, and basically she's instilled confidence and enthusiasm in the staff. The way Hub's heading is basically could be construed as we deliver quality training compliant with government standards. That's what we want to be known as. We want to be known as the place to come to if you want quality, consistent training that meets all the compliance standards. So that's the message we're trying to get out in the community, and that's what we hope to achieve. There's a huge emphasis this year been placed on accredited training, and that's one of the growth areas that we have certainly gone into. Industry training with business. Industry training is really quite important in that we've got, once again, partnering with businesses around the area. There is a lot of courses that we hold here, but there's a lot of courses that we hold in-house for different organisations. And that to me is a pleasing aspect of what we do, and that's one where we need to develop as well. And once again, we still complete the traditional lifestyle courses when the demand allows for that. As I said before, one of the tenets of this year has been partnerships. Partnerships with Gould & partnerships with DSE, partnerships with the Wimmera Healthcare Group. We've just announced that in the last month, and that to me is a big area of where Hub is going. Partnering with organisations across the area and that we mutually benefit each other. So that's going to be an emphasis, I think, of where the committee of Hub is going to be looking for the next 12 months, 18 months and beyond. So that is a really important part of what we do. The number of students, because of the increased training and increased turnover, the number of students, that's been brought by the number of students. We've trained a lot more students in 2011, so that has been a result, and that's where some of our bottom line results come from. I thank the committee for their support, and we're only a small committee, but I thank them for their support and their work. As I said before, our staff is our greatest asset, and their enthusiasm and dedication is unquestioned, and I thank them for that. Hub's been serving the Wimmera, as I said, for 37 years. It's a trusted organisation, and we want to keep that brand, that quality compliance brand out there. We'll continue to provide the alternatives and work with business and work with the region. And once again, it's been a privilege to serve as chairperson of Hub for the last 12 months, and I thank you for your attendance today. Thank you. I'd now like to call on our CEO, Mandy Kersop, to introduce her report.
Thank you, Ross, and thank you for those, that explanation of part of our business. We certainly are changing our business, and I think rather than me give a lengthy explanation of what we've done, I draw your attention firstly to the fairly short report I have in the AGM report, where I talk about vision, product and team, and also to the insert that's on the table, which is 12 months of transition. So the 12 months of transition paper shows you in a fairly simple way the kind of things that have happened in the last 12 months. So it's reviewing processes and systems, quality, our responsiveness to students, our responsive to our clients, our broader community, reviewing our partnerships, tidying the place, looking at housekeeping, looking at health and safety, valuing our staff and making our staff accountable for specific roles, and then thinking about what can I as CEO do? My job is to support the staff, to develop the skills, to be the advocates of Wimmera out in the community. And I'm not going to talk too much to the information that's in there because everyone in this room can read the information. You can talk to the people down the street. It's that word of mouth about the way Wimmera has changed that I really value so much, because that's the thermometer or barometer of what's happening here and the improvements. What I will say is that nothing happens in isolation. And one of the strengths of Wimmera as an organisation is that we are part of our community. And our community is, for a start, the people who are in this room, because when I look around and I see the different parts of our community, the different sections, the agencies and organisations and levels of responsibility that are in this room today, Ross and Barry, I am so pleased, because this is an incredible vote of support for the direction of Wimmera. And so truly I thank you, because it's the community support that we need, and it's the community that we are working to serve, to provide a quality product of training, education, vocational pathways. That is so important. And I'm seeing Peter nod his head. Peter's been part of the team of Wimmera. I see Samara, part of the team of Wimmera, and Abby and Hamish and all sorts of people in this room. It is just fantastic. Can I just also say finally, because I've been told not to talk too long, and everyone who knows that I can talk for hours once I get a little bit of attention, is the other team, of course, are our trainers. Our trainers are absolutely critical, and we're looking at ways to support our training staff more this year in terms of professional development, one-on-one mentoring and individual support. It is so important. Can I recognise the support provided by the Committee of Management? As Ross said, it's a small committee, though we're growing all the time. The committee provided invaluable sounding board for me, because otherwise my head is filled with creative ideas, and the committee is a way of saying, okay, this is the direction, this is what we need to do. And it's a professional sounding board that I really value. Can I also, though, mention the staff, our administrative staff, the people who I work with every single day of the week. We're a disparate bunch. We've got different skills and personalities, different working styles, different ways of approaching problems and dealing with opportunities. But by heck, it's a good team. I am really, really lucky, and I feel absolutely privileged to be the CEO of an organisation that trusts me, that respects me, and that takes on board the changes that I ask. And so I give back to that team, I hope, and I'm publicly acknowledging I respect my team, I trust my team to go with the changes and the vision that we are developing. And we work really well together. And lastly, I'd like to say there's been a lot of change in 12 months, but by heck, guys, this is just the beginning, because what we've been doing is we've been refining systems with the support of ACFI, and I acknowledge Alan, who's travelled from Ballarat to be at this meeting today. ACFI has been a massive support so that we could review our systems, refine our systems, put in place quality processes and business processes so that we become a reliable, secure, quality-driven organisation serving our community. So this is absolutely fantastic. And thank you to everyone who's involved. Thank you to the people in this room and to our extended staff and team. That's it.
I'd now like to introduce the Treasurer of the Committee, Barry Cooper. Barry?
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for coming along. I've now been the Treasurer of Hub for 2 years, and when I first came on board, I guess the best way of describing Hub was it was an at-risk organisation at that point. Through the dedication of people like Mandy and of course the staff and her predecessor, Eddie, they've managed to turn the ship around sizably. So even last year's audit, we were still considered slightly at risk, despite the fact that we've managed to turn the finances around quite significantly and only list a a loss of just over 30,000 last year. Importantly, though, this year, when we look at the figures that are in the audited report, you'll see that we've actually managed to turn that into a profit this year of 63,000. Now that's incorporating depreciation. Now, depreciation is something that's probably not terribly important to us from a perspective. We're a non-for-profit organisation. So if we were to look at the raw figures and just forget about depreciation for a second, last year we had a total revenue of $710,358. At the end of 2011, that had grown to $1,118,128. So that's an increase in revenue of over 57% of the year. The organisation has found focus and direction, and we are more structured now as an RTO to deliver services, upskilling, industry, those sorts of areas where we're not just reliant on fees from community type activities. So what we've seen is also naturally an increase in expenditure in areas for tutors, course expenses and those sorts of things. So when we look at last year, we had total expenditure of $740,477. That's not allowing for any depreciation. This year just ended, 2011, that had gone up to $996,810. Importantly, so we've gone from a loss of $30,199, keeping in mind no depreciation in the figures I'm quoting, to a profit of $121,318 this year. So I thank the staff, the dedicated staff, our CEO, and to some degree, some of the decision making that's been made at board levels has probably contributed to some of that as well. So, so we're very pleased with the results that we're achieving. But as Mandy mentioned, you ain't seen nothing yet, because that focus and that direction is certainly pushing us into areas that will increase that revenue again this year. One of the things I purposely didn't want to talk terribly much about depreciation, that's still because that hasn't been finalised for this year. Over 12 months ago, we did a complete review of our asset register. When I came on board, I noticed that the valuations that have been applied to a number of the assets, including the building, appeared quite low. So we actually got an independent audit valuation of all those assets. And one of those was the asset register, which includes chairs, tables, computers, everything basically that you see within the building. And that appears to have had been flawed because some of the asset register figures shouldn't actually be included currently. So that's going to affect our total valuation for the year as far as value of our assets. It won't be high on a lot of them, but it will also impact on the depreciation that's going to flow from this report. So at this point in time, the audit report remains unsigned until we get those final figures through. So what we are presenting and asking you to accept today is a draft of the audit report. Thank you very much.
So in view of in relation to the draft financial statement, could I just have a motion accepting the chairperson's report and the executive officer's report, and we'll keep the financial one separate. So can I ask someone to move that those two reports be accepted by the meeting? Julie? Second? John? Any discussion? Thank you very much. And basically, I'll just have a separate motion, just receiving the draft reports, bearing in mind they're not final at the moment. So could I have someone to move that the meeting received the draft reports, not adopt them, just receive them. Peter? Seconded. Julie? Any discussion? Thank you very much. We'll just move on to basically the formal part of the meeting. The more formal part of the meeting. It's the election of the committee for 2012. As you'll note in the agenda, 3 committee members will be leaving in 2012, Graham Cox, Julie Clarity and David Terry. As at the 16th of April, which is 2 days before the annual general meeting, we've received 3 nominations in relation to join the committee of management, both from John Bradford, Julie Pettit and Fiona Werner. As those nominations don't exceed the number of board members, we're allowed between 5 and 12 board members, so that does not put us above the 12. So an election therefore is not necessary, and therefore I declare those nominations elected to the committee on the agreement of this meeting. No discussion? Thank you. The appointment of the auditor for 2012. 2012 year, I'm getting this confused as well, man. The 2012 year. Capita's Financial Services undertook the audit for 2011. Capita's is available to do the 2012 audit, and I would seek a motion from Larry. Would you like to move with the...
Yes, if I could move a motion that we accept Capita's Financial Services as the auditor for the 2012 year.
Could I have a seconder for that, please? Next item of business is any general business. We've received no formal notification of any general business, but as this is an annual general meeting, I'm prepared to accept anything from the floor should anyone wish to raise any issues they have. This is the time to do it, or the place to do it. Anyone got anything to add? All right, thank you very much. That basically concludes the formal part of our annual general meeting, but do not go anywhere. We have a presentation by a couple of staff members, and I'll ask Manny to introduce them and let us know what the presentation is going to be about.
Thank you, yes, Ross and Barry, thank you. And also I recognise that Peter Brown, CEO, is in the room, so thank you, Peter, for coming today. Julie Pettit, our new board member, needs to leave, so he's running off. Peter probably does too. And Don Johns is about to leave to watch his grandchild race, so please go, Don. His family is very important. We are making lots and lots of changes in this organisation, and one area that you, as a community, may not be aware of yet, but you certainly will be, is that we're moving on into a strong e-presence. Hopefully that turns that off. E-presence, so that learning can be provided to people who live remotely, so that training, learning can be provided to communities that have what we call thin markets, where there might be only 1 or 2 people and not a critical number for us to run training, so that we can expand the income that comes into the organisation and move away from a reliance on government funding, and we can go into overseas markets and the rest of Australia. There's some fantastic things happening. One of the other reasons we're looking to move into the e-learning market is because it helps our learners learn more effectively, because we're able to adjust it to cater for different learning styles. So without saying anything else, what I'd like to do is introduce only one half of the presentation at this stage. So Rheinard, could you come up to the front, or are you going to stay at the back? Stay there?
I just need to get the thing started, then I can be anywhere.
Okay. So Rheinard will just press a couple of buttons and then show where we're heading with the technology, and we will be doing this in the next couple of months because, Alan, this is what we're doing with some of the ACFU funding. So we've got some government funding to support this initiative. So just see what happens, guys. This is fascinating.
You think technology makes some people nervous, makes me nervous talking about it. I'm just getting this started up. Once that's started up, I'll bring Robbie into the classroom as well. And what we're looking is just at some different ways to make the classrooms a bit more engaging and just a little bit more innovative. So you'll see that I am going to be talking about my iPad today, and just that we're looking at a way of delivering classrooms that's, like I said, a little bit more engaging, but also allows the teacher freedom to move amongst the students. Up there, you see my two daughters. And what I'll do is I'll just bring Robbie in, and Robbie's just going to talk about one part of this presentation of his project that he's looking at doing with some of the funding we're receiving, and then I'll talk a little bit about my vision that where I see us going as an organisation, which has to be innovative because that's what my title says. So I'll just bring Robbie in. So you'll see me there talking, and we'll see if we can get Robbie to come in. Robbie's actually going to be connecting to us now from our video room, a newly fitted out video room. It has a very green wall. There you go. So Robbie's here, and he's just going to talk a little bit about what he's planning on doing with the video room.
Hi, I'm Robbie Millar. What we're planning to do with the video room, my program is to utilise the room to do video journalism for learners, and also to create Wimmera for general education students who try and sell themselves to potential employers. Back to you, Rheinard.
Nice handballing, Robbie. So rather than actually talking about it, Robbie recorded a little video for us that will just show what his plans are, and just a little bit of an example of what a vision day is. So I'll just get that going.
Hi, I'm Robbie Millar. I'm the Accredited Training and Deadly Youth Project Coordinator. Over the last year, I've worked on some exciting and successful projects, such as the Tune Up Music Workshop during school holidays for young people at Nexus, the Work Ready Project, which involved painting an underpass with a group of VCAL students, the award-winning Deadly Youth Project, which involves 15 Indigenous young people studying 1 day a week and modifying a utility vehicle, and more recently, the Deadly Connections film workshops for Indigenous young people that was done in conjunction with the Australian Film, Television and Radio School. The Rheinard 2012 will see the conclusion of the Deadly Youth Project and its launch of the Long Walk in Melbourne on May 19. More Deadly documentaries, including one on the Deadly Youth Project, and utilising modern technology to engage and inspire hard-to-reach learners and long-term unemployed to study Certificate 2 in General Education for adults. Current planning for 2013 is underway in creative industries, music, general education for adults and business, and we are aiming to offer these programs utilising cutting-edge technology. One exciting example is working with young Indigenous students to capture the culture and creating industries Betting School's filmmaking project. I'm looking forward to more exciting opportunities, advancing careers and building skills through training over the coming year.
That's that's Robbie's presentation, just as an example of Vision Mate. So if you would like to talk a bit more about that.
Yeah, I suppose the concept of the Vision Mate was to look at long-term unemployed students and get them to highlight key strengths in themselves and in their career, and try and sell that to potential employers. So alongside a normal CV or resume that they might have, they would have a short 1 or 2 minute film that would sell themselves to potential employers. So I sort of did that on my time at Hub and some different keys, but if it was a Vision Mate, you'd do it on who you are as a person and what you would bring to that organisation. So it's really the whole step of highlighting the strengths of yourself and then selling it to someone else. So
how are we doing it?
how are we doing what?
How are we doing the Vision Mates?
through video production. So we're going to use iPads and video production software to actually do it. And a similar kind of setup with the video room would be to do learners have online journals, so they do video production and they make their own journals of their learning history. So yeah, thank you. You can do it.
Thank you. So that's one way we're trying to be a bit more innovative. I did a little, I guess, vision made too, just kind of outlining my vision for where I see us going as an organisation. And I'll talk a little bit more about it after the video.
Technology offers us opportunities to work smarter, learn faster, and ultimately change the living conditions of our communities. Yet there are many who feel that this is a bit out of reach. At Hub, we're looking at changing all that. I'm Rheinard Korf, Innovative Learning Designer at Wimmera Hub. I believe I joined Hub at a pivotal point last year. In a single year, I've seen spectacular changes in behaviour, work culture, and the adoption of technologies. In 2011, we turned our attention to quality. This resulted in a series of systems and templates to improve our practices, meet our compliance requirements of funding and regulating bodies, and of course, to better serve our students. Amongst all this, we implemented an online learning management system to support distance learning. We also moved several of our systems to the cloud to avoid the threat of a single point of failure, as a local server is aging and nearing an impending meltdown. This year, my attention is focused at online learning, and I'm turning to video in a big way. Our video room is now complete, and we have our technologies lined up to support a few clear strategies to get up our sleeve. The short of it is this: we're making our training more accessible to learners, whether they are local, statewide, nationwide, or even international. 2012 really is about being innovative and progressive, and we're planning on changing our classrooms to reflect this too. So if you can, pop in from time to time over the year to see how we're going. We believe that the rollout of the national broadband network is going to have a significant impact on our community, and we're getting ready for a whole new set of opportunities in 2013.
That's a little. That said a lot more than what I'm going to say now. I guess I talked a little bit about changing of classrooms, and again we really thank ACFI for all their support. One of the things we did today is actually just demonstrate how a teacher can actually roam around a classroom without being bound to sitting at a laptop or just sitting still, having to jump up, having to do the presentations, etc. So one of the things we're planning on doing is getting a couple of really good projectors, hooking up a little black box to it, and actually doing our delivery from iPads. Through the iPads, we can also do a little bit of collaboration. So, as an example, I can actually interact with my students who's in the same classroom as me. So Robbie and I are going to play a little game.
And Robbie's playing the game on his iPhone.
Robbie's
so
playing
this is the
his
kind of
iPhone.
technology that we're moving towards.
And I'll be circles. And I'll make my first move.
I'm really bad at this.
Yeah, so am I. I can't even place my circle. So as you can see, we're actually interacting and playing together. And it looks like we're going for a stalemate.
Okay.
But that's just an example of how we can actually interact. We don't have to play games. We can draw on it as well, and there's quite a few things that we can actually do with tablets and interacting. Sorry, Robbie, I think I should be, no? There we go. Okay, so just an example of where we're planning on going. Robbie is having fun. And yeah, again, I'd just like to acknowledge the support we've been receiving from ACFI, and looking forward to some of the new projects that we've got in the pipeline as well. And I might just leave it there. Actually, one thing. I talked a little bit about on-demand learning, so that's another area we're actually focusing on, is doing a lot of training videos and actually presenting them online as well, which makes us happy. All right.
Well, that basically, at the end of the presentation, as you can see, there are some exciting things in the wind for Hub in 2012 and beyond, and we're certainly embracing the new technology, and obviously the staff are having fun coming to terms with it and playing with it. So we are looking at offering some, as I said before, quality products, accessible to everybody, and that is going to be one of our strengths in 2012. That basically is all the annual general meeting I intend to do at the annual general meeting, other than invite everybody outside for a sausage and a drink and something, and to have a bit of fellowship and a chat. So I thank you for your attendance. It's been really great having you all here, and enjoy the lunch. Thank you.